Has anyone ever said that to be a successful music producer, you have to go to music school? Well, as someone that just graduated from a 4-year university, I completely disagree. Here's how and why it's possible to learn music production completely online. There's a lot of information, but it can be overwhelming. There's no one to guide you, no structure to follow, and no deadlines. I was trying to spend as many hours as I could on production, but my workflow was inefficient and my results were inconsistent. I realized something had to change. I experimented and developed a system and better work habits. So now I'm going to share the systems that I developed and all the lessons that I learned along the way. I'm sharing these so you can get better at music production and get the results that you want. Number one might be controversial. That's to create more than you consume. We live in an age where consumption is at the root of every single thing. And this could be a good thing or a bad thing. If you're someone that falls into the consumption trap, then that's all you're going to be doing. But you can take advantage of this age by creating. The more you create, the better you get. And the number one reason is that action dissolves fear. Procrastination and perfectionism can be easily overcome with action. Next is the 80-20 rule. So that means we're going to create 80% of the time and consume 20% of the time. By doing this, you're figuring out what you truly need to learn while you create, and then you can go and study those exact things and apply what you study. The next point is urgency. You've probably known someone that said they wanted to start a business or be a musician or start a band, but 2 years later they haven't. The best time to start was yesterday, but the second best time to start is today. Then after urgency, you also need patience. This is contradictory, but I learned it's important to be doing everything we can today, but also be willing to stick with whatever it is for a while. So number two is watching long-form content. There's a lot of really good producers out there that are sharing their process step by step. And so what I like to do is just follow along and make it my own. For example, if they make a chord progression, then I'll make my own chord progression. If they make a melody, then I'll make my own. And I'll continue this throughout the entire video. Number three is attacking weaknesses. By doing this, you waste no time and you learn what you actually need to work on. It can be easy to repeat straights only. I fell into the trap of just making the same beat over and over again without actually learning anything new. The biggest way to do this is to not avoid anything. Whether that's music theory, vocals, the faster you face it, the more you'll improve. In business, it's called bottlenecks, where essentially you fall to the weakest link in your system. So basically, the faster that you face those head on, whether it's music theory, vocals, etc., the faster you're going to improve. Number four is to explore multiple music genres. Each music genre has unique production techniques, and it'll help you find your unique sound. Every genre has unique production techniques, and as you learn each of these, then you can combine it into your own. There's also a different culture and different kinds of people that you can learn from in each genre. And having produced these genres, it opened me up to more opportunities, and I grew as a person differently in each community. The next point might be the most important of this video, and that's structure. So the biggest allure of going to music school is structure, having a curriculum or a guide that you can trust. Because of this, I bundled 4 years of music school, 3 years of production, 2 years of running a music business into one ebook. That link is in the description so you can get the results that you want in half the time. Number five is quantity over quality at first. Every time you go through the production process, the next song is better. If you spend 2 years on one song, you aren't improving much. You're just rewriting and remixing and remastering the exact same song. To prove this, they did an experiment. I've heard multiple different versions of this experiment, but they all have the same concept. Essentially, there's a class. One group had an entire semester to make one really good art project. And the other group, we had to make one every single week, and by the very end, turn in the best one. And of course, to no surprise, the art students that made one every single week ended up having objectively better art. Next is self-awareness. Being able to judge our work and ourselves honestly is easier said than done. This is because of something called the Dunning-Kruger effect. Essentially, when you first start, everything is up because you're just consistently learning and consistently getting better. Then you hit a point where you're aware of everything that you need to improve on. And even though you're making progress, it feels like you're going down because you're learning more and more things that you need to improve on. One way to fix this is third-person perspective. So for example, on YouTube, I'll go to a separate channel and I'll look at my channel objectively as if it was someone else's. That way I could just straight up see what I would improve and what I would like to see if I was the audience member. Next is another controversial thing, but that's objective comparison. Comparison is very dangerous in music, so be careful about this one. but essentially the quote goes that success leaves clues. So there's a reason that a lot of people are doing certain things. One thing a lot of mixing and mastering engineers do is a playlist test, where essentially they put their song in a playlist of their favorite songs, and if they're just listening and their song comes up and anything sounds kind of weird, it's a lot easier to pick out than if you're just listening to that song on your own, because you start to lose perspective. And the hard part about self-awareness is knowledge versus experience. I watched thousands of YouTube tutorials, took thousands of dollars worth of classes, read a bunch of different books, but I didn't actually learn anything until I actually applied it. And point number 7 is to find mentors. These do not have to be in person. Mentors are the main reason people go to music schools or music cities. But a lot of the time, it's actually super hard to find people trying to do exactly what you are. Eventually, you'll have to find people doing what you're trying to do. The way I do it is finding someone I trust in each category online. For example, production, EDM, marketing, business, and even cooking. That way, usually they're not going to say the exact same thing twice unless they absolutely need to. Having that guidance is super important, which is again why I made the 6-month plan. It's something I wish I had at the beginning, and people that have bought it have also said the same thing. This was the foundation for how to learn music production at home. In this video, we'll talk about the cheat codes I figured out to learn music production at home 10 times faster. Thanks, and I'll see you there.